Tuition raise, which if there's a 10% tuition raise, it'll still be below every other four-year institution in the state.
We'll be pretty darn close. You can probably speak to that.
I don't want to say yes, Regent Martinez, because we don't know what other institutions are doing. So we have to be careful to say yes at this point without knowing what the institution closest to us is going to do by way of an increase, and that would be New Mexico Highlands.
So my understanding is they're going to increase their tuition.
It's probably inevitable that they're going to raise it, but we need to look at what percentage they're going to raise it relative to us. So I would say that there's a very good chance that we're going to remain the most affordable institution, but we have to be, the only time we can answer that is once our tuition is set and once theirs is, and then we make that.
Because my understanding with respect to that institution was they proposed a 9% increase to their board, which is pretty big.
Yeah, it is. And I think they raised theirs last year as well, some, right? It was a small increase, but they raised it. NMSU raised theirs 2.4, 2.9, something like that. Yeah. So, and I don't know, UNM has been talking about an increase, but I don't know if they've acted on anything yet.
But again, they have a bigger pool of money, so their increases are never going to be as that big.
They
even cut $9 million out of the
Yeah,
budget.
but see,
NMSU actually got $1 million increase in their appropriation too. So, I mean, you know, NMSU got an increase in their state funding and still had to raise tuition. We're getting a decrease in our state funding. You know, I mean, it's
and the other thing is too, and I'm going to say this because I think this is true. They have many more opportunities to try to economize than we do, and they have a lot more in the hallways that I think they probably could slice off. A $9 million chunk is some real money, but they're big, and $9 million to them as a percentage of their overall operating budget is. I don't know what the percentage is, but you know, when you look at ours, you know, 10%, that $1 million hole is 10% of our appropriation in the state. That's huge.
And I think the other thing that shouldn't go unnoticed is the fact that, you know, in those larger institutions, you may have a finance department that's got 20 or 30 people in it. So if you had somebody who left, you could leave that vacancy there and probably get by. But as you said, when you've got two people, there's not a whole lot of maneuverability in those small departments. And you know, yours is one example, but I'm sure across the board.
We have a lot of examples of that where it is very difficult.
So if there's no increase, 7.5, 10, just nothing, how does that hole get filled?
I have to cut positions. We go back to the back room and we say, okay, we got to cut. Each of us has to put more positions on the table, and then we lose services, and we lose probably, depending on where you cut, you know, people that would be maintaining computer services, doing maintenance on the facilities, people that are tutoring students. People that are recruiting for us. I mean, you are going to hurt the services, the basic services that we need to provide just to kind of tread water. And all these
people that can least afford to lose their job, lose their job.
Probably, yeah. The other area that I do want to mention, because we want to talk a little more in detail, and we've got a slide for you, is on a single rate. And I want to talk a little bit about the single rate. And what we're trying to do with the single rate in terms of our recommendations is to make it easier for a student to come and take courses here and not have to worry about all the ins and outs of what applies to me in terms of the fee and what doesn't apply to me. And it just simplifies the math. And I want to show you some slides of why the single rate makes makes a lot of sense, and we think it makes a lot of sense. And so I want to go to my next slide so I can start kind of getting into some of this. When we talk about a single rate, and I apologize for folks in the back, can't see this.